Hi everybody, and welcome to this video, where I'm going to be talking about the raid in some detail, not in super detail, but in detail enough that I wanted to talk about it because it is important. First off, I think the raid is an amazing experience. I want to get that very much, very clear out the gate that this raid is amazing. I absolutely love every single part of the encounters. And I love everything involved with the raid, and I think everything that it does well, and everything that all the loot's really good, all of the lore and all of that, the whole sort of story that's kind of set up and everything that involved with the raid, I think is great. I just have some problems with overall the raid and just generally how it's being sort of treated right now. But again, I definitely think it is something you should definitely have the chance to experience. It's just want to talk about something that's kind of glaring in the face when it comes to this raid. And that is that this raid was not designed at all for anyone to do with no experience in raids, which is understandable. Not every raid is designed to be a noob-friendly raid, but on the same token, there are people that want to basically do these raids for the sake of getting the loot and getting the clear and having it be like, oh, I got my loot, I got the loot that I wanted, I got the cracked weapon that I wanted, I don't want to go back in the raid. So people who want to do it every single day, sure. Not gonna be, this is not really affecting them. It's more or less affecting how I personally raid and how my team typically kind of treats raids. We treat raids as a way of kind of doing it once a week for the sake of having fun, trying to have a bit of community and friendship building type thing. This raid actually almost made my entire team uninstall Destiny for the sole fact of everything is so strict and constrained. I think the encounter difficulty on their own is perfectly manageable and fine. I think the addition of a 4-minute timer at maximum for most encounters is a bit constrictive. If anything, I think 5 minutes should be the maximum, and giving us a bare minimum of enough time to be able to do the encounter with a team of people who don't know what they're doing. As of right now, I'm the only person in my Discord who has cleared the raid. Not because I haven't brought my team through, because it is so difficult to bring new players through without any experience in this raid at all. It is very much a thing where you need 4 to 5 people to run through and know what they're doing, and then have 1 or 2 new people be taught how to do it. It is not a thing to be doing it like with Deep Stone, where you can have maybe 2 or 3 people who know what they're doing, 1 person who's raided before and has done the raid before but hasn't done it in a while, and then 2 to 3 newbies who have never touched the raid before. And there is nothing wrong with difficulty. I want to state that very clearly. There's nothing wrong with difficulty. It's the need for perfection that is annoying. And the need to basically use what is basically required for builds to succeed. I have people in my Discord who like using fun builds that are meant to be, I guess, less engaging with mechanics and more meant for ad clear and more meant for general use. Those builds were struggling because the fact of there's so much going on that requires you to have full attention on everything, and it's just not enough. There's not enough going on. There's too much going on top of the timer. I think either of the removal of the timer or making the mechanic itself less longer, I guess, at least for first encounter specifically, the first and second encounter, making the overall, or first and third mainly, those two are the big pain points for me, making those encounters less lengthy in terms of their execution, or making the timer be a longer duration or removal in general, and maybe just having it be a thing where if you don't do this enough times you wipe. I think it would be a little bit easier. It's not that I don't like the timer, it's that I feel like the timer is adding on to the pressure of the constant need for perfection. Which again, there's nothing wrong with basically needing to execute everything perfectly, but again, not everyone has builds that they are comfortable with that are considered meta type thing. Like, I have a Lordly's Wonder build because that's what I know is at least still good. I'm comfortable with it, and I can do good with it. I have people in my clan who like running builds. Like, we have somebody who runs a stasis build, and it is a very good stasis build, might I add. And they were struggling because the fact of stasis isn't meta. And it's annoying because stasis is a fun build. You can build really, really well into stasis and have fun with it, but it's not meta. Similarly, we have people who run Arc Warlock. That's only ever meta in a boss DPS encounter, and the ad clear potential of Stormcaller isn't that great. We have people who run Arc Hunter. Unless you're running Gathering Storm for DPS, again, not very good for ad clear. And it's like, it's annoying because you either are running the meta or you're throwing, and I hate that in raids. I understand the need for perfection. Again, I like that. I like that you have to execute it perfectly, or it's like the recovery is hard to do. I liked it in Crota because at least then, if you made a mistake, you could recover and then try to slowly regain, and then inevitably, if you make another mistake, then it's out of control. But with Salvation's Edge, it feels like, did you whiff your hammer against this one Scion that froze you and then killed you? Well, time to reset, because we were on the final wave, and all we need to do is dunk one more essence, and you had it, and now it is a wipe. That's the kind of thing where I hate it. It's like, it basically demands you to go near flawless without screwing anything up. Like, our team had a couple deaths and we were fine, but it's still very much like a thing where it's like, if you aren't perfect, you're failing, and it feels very alienating. It feels a little, not to say, I don't want to say it feels elitist to everyone who's completed it, because I've completed it and I disagree, but it feels like the people who are saying that the raid is easy and it's not hard, just do this, feels very much like a slap in the face. Because, again, a lot of us don't want to do raids because we want to do the raid. We want to do it for the sake of the loot and the fun of being as a group together. That's why we typically frequent, like, Deepstone Crypt, Vault of Glass. We occasionally run a Vault, we'll occasionally run a Vow, we'll occasionally run a Ruin of Nightmares. We basically run a lot of the easier raids, not because they're easy, but because we can have fun and do those raids with minimal pushback. And we don't do we do raids maybe like once or twice a month, if that. And we don't raid often. I think out of everyone in the clan, everyone has at least under double-digit clears, if not just double digits. No one did triple digits as far as I'm aware. And those who are triple digits that I know are a part of clans that do it basically every single like pinnacle raid for the week, and then they're done basically they basically do those and they do nothing else. They only do the raid. But at the same time, it's like, this raid run that you're basically going to be watching is 4 hours condensed. It's basically going to be all the encounters condensed out of 4 hours of footage. Verity is a killer. And I don't like to talk on Verity because I think Verity is an amazing encounter. I think it is a very confusing encounter, but once you understand how the encounter works, it is beautiful. I think it is one of the best encounters in the game that is not a boss encounter. Hell, I think the Witness fight is incredibly fun, and it actually made me use a weapon type I suck at, just for the sake of trying to make the DPS check, and that's a sniper. I suck with sniper rifles. I had to use my succession from the Brave Arsenal with the reconstructed firing line for both killing some of the ads that were really tanky and DPS, and I was actually having fun doing it. Again, it's like, it's nothing to do with the difficulty, it's everything to do with that it's very high, it's very demanding. The mechanics are very demanding, and not necessarily saying my team is bad, it's just that my team isn't built for this type of, like, extreme difficulty. And again, we've done all of the raids, give or take. Like, I believe most of us have done Last Wish, most of us have done King's Fall, most of us have done Vow, most of us have done Rude Nightmares, most of us have done all the raids. I'm the only person who has a Crota or a Salvation's Edge clear in the clan. Not because they're hard, but because they are very high demand raids, and they're very, like, demanding of the players in the raid to succeed. And one mistake snowballs out of control. And even then, I'm very much of the belief of everyone should be able to do the raid. I don't think everyone should be handed the raid. I think it should be possible for all players to do it, not necessarily all players to complete it, like, easily. I think the idea of having a raid that has a lot of pushback and is essentially, like, necessarily like to say it is like, hey, if I'm going into a raid, I expect there to be difficulty. I expect there to be pushback from the enemies that are killing us. I don't want the thing that's killing us be the mechanic. I want it to be the enemies. I want the mechanic to be a thing that's killing us when we make a mistake. I don't want the thing that's killing us be the ads, because the fact of, oh, it's not that we mismanage, it's just, oh, hey, this single ad that somebody missed a kill on is currently killing us. It's like, oh, that's fun. It's just not fun. I hate to say it, it just isn't. But who am I kidding? Everyone's going to think that, oh, it's a skill issue type thing. It's not. It's not that it's a skill issue at all. It's that the raid is very difficult for some teams to complete. I understand, but it's like, if a team can beat it on contest mode, it can be beaten by anybody. That doesn't necessarily the case, because people in contest mode are leagues above an average player base. That's what I think a lot of people don't understand is, contest mode was beaten in, like, I think it took longer to beat. I'm pretty sure it anyway, obviously I would love to be corrected. Some instances took longer to complete than Last Wishes Day 1, and even then, those teams were struggling in different encounters. I think the fact that the encounters are good isn't necessarily the problem. I think the fact that they're timed so strictly is what ruins this raid for me. I think it's a great raid other than that timer. I understand the timer is there for a reason. It is meant for both the help of progression as well as the overall story. I think the timer either needs to be lengthened for normal mode, or the mechanic needs to be shorter. One of the two. I understand that may not be nice for everybody, but still, it is a thing that is so constrictive. I understand no one wants to get handed out free raid clears. I understand that's not the point of raids. They're not meant to be free loot. But it's one of those things where I still want to be able to bring my team in, have fun, do a raid, and then maybe somebody gets the exotic. That's why I like doing raids. It's because that thrill of somebody getting that random drop exotic is so much fun. The fact that I literally don't even want to go into the raid again after clearing it says something. Crota's End I kind of want to go back into, because Crota's End is a fun raid. Salvation's Edge isn't fun. It's just a stressful slog. And if it was the normal 4 encounters, if it was the normal, like, 4 encounters that we normally have, like, maybe you drop the 3rd encounter entirely and it's just puzzle, boss, verity, witness, perfectly fine. I think the addition of that 3rd encounter, or even better yet, just the 1st encounter, either one of them, I think the addition of them being so strict and so constrained is what kind of hurts the difficulty in terms of everything else. Regardless, I might also just say it outright, I do like the raid. Again, I want to preface that. I love this raid. I think this raid is amazing. I love the loot in it. I've gotten a good roll in the pulse. I've gotten a good roll in presumably good roll in the bow, and I've gotten a decent roll in the sword. I haven't gotten the exotic yet. I've gotten very little armor. I've only done 1 clear of it. I want to do more clears of it. It is just one of those things where it is very stressful to do multiple runs of this. But I just don't know I just don't know how to do... I don't know how to bring my team through it without struggling or dragging in people who know what they're doing and basically shoving people who really want this raid done away because this is such a demanding raid. Like, I feel bad saying that I want my group and my team to be able to get these clears, but to be able to basically have the team be doing it 2 people at a time with 4 people who know what they're doing, and maybe myself tossed in there to basically be like, hey, I'm here for the loot and to basically guide the way a little bit here because I've had experience. It's not fun. I love the raid, I do, but it feels very alienating when the raid feels like it's not made for everybody. It's made for the 1% of players who basically live and breathe the game. That being said, like and subscribe. I might be trying out some build videos in the near future of what I've basically been enjoying having fun with, showing off what they're kind of used for and what their kind of overall usefulness is. And yeah, sorry for ranting about 15 minutes in your face, but if you want to see me do a not rant video about something I like or hate, subscribe. I do upload every single day. See you guys next time. Everybody, stay safe.